Well, only 1/9 the size of Oklahoma, Israel is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. Yet only 20% of that small parcel of land is even arable, and of that, almost half must still be irrigated. But thanks to cutting-edge technology, Israel not only produces most of its own food, it also exports close to $2.5 billion in ag-related products every year. And it's the success in making the desert bloom that brought several Oklahoma scientists to the Middle East to see how Israel is using innovation to make the wilderness flower. Israel and its people have long known adversity. Settled by Jewish refugees, few knew much of agriculture, yet they made this desert bloom.
I had a big advantage and a big disadvantage. My father knew nothing about farming. So I grew up, I came to the farm without knowing anything, having any background. He says that was a big advantage because then I was like a sponge. I could, absorb and try and see everything.
Yosef Elkanah has dedicated much of his life to telling Israel's agriculture story to all that will listen, which is why he helped lead a group of Oklahomans around a country he believes would not be as prosperous if it wasn't for our two countries' friendship.
Our entire agriculture development in the last 50, 60 years has been due to exchange of information and knowledge with many countries, but first and foremost with the United States.
From wars to weather, Israel is a rugged land. Even in the most fertile areas, rainfall won't support many crops. But rather than hurt Israeli agriculture, such factors have actually helped it. Long known for its resiliency, this Jewish nation has an agriculture industry that is just as resilient. Israel leads the world in irrigation research, which for the scientists visiting from Oklahoma made a lasting impression.
About 60% of the state has less than 8 inches of rain, and yet they produce immense amounts of crops on very limited amount of water. They value the water to the point that they use almost everything is watered with drip irrigation. The crops flourish. They do everything they can to reduce evaporation
and grow predominantly higher value crops. Israel, once known for its orange production, now produces more exotic and higher value produce in greenhouses that dot the desert.
In this way, you can give the strawberries all the conditions they need.
But even the best technology can't completely defend against market forces. Densely populated land here is precious. Homes now surround Zion Dar's farm, and the water here is needed for more than just his crops.
Especially the water is a big problem, and I think sometimes is a limiting factor that can limit the development of the agriculture.
Ari Regev is with Israel's Ministry of Agriculture and says in just 2 decades, half of all of Israel's farmers have called it quits, and just a few thousand still make a living at it.
About 1/3 out of them, that is to say about 6,000, are full-time farmers, and all the rest are just part-time farmers.
And much like in the U.S., those farms that have stayed have gotten bigger, and with a willingness to diversify, have prospered.
Well, in Oklahoma, I imagine you can still find quite a few farmers who are doing more or less what their grandparents were doing, or what their parents were doing. You won't find that in Israel. There is no tradition in agriculture. The little tradition that there was is now aimed at quality production, at water saving, but what to produce, the sky's the limit.
They have innovations in technology that we just don't seem to grasp here in the United States yet. And by example, probably I would say that they grow their agriculture by innovation. We grow ours by just expanding.
Which makes Israel still quite dependent on exports from the United States. We met up with Oklahoma's chief trade representative for Israel at a restaurant outside Tel Aviv, appropriately called Oklahoma.
Right now, as far as Oklahoma is concerned, Oklahoma's best opportunities for Israel are in areas where Oklahoma has tremendous strength. One is in aircraft and everything that goes with aircraft, not only aircraft itself, but supplies, maintenance activities, upgrades, all the things associated with the aircraft industry. Second opportunity, of course, is the group that's here, the whole issue of agriculture, agri-tech, and all the associated activities with that. The third area is an area where Oklahoma is really developing some significant expertise, and that's in the area of life sciences and biotech.
High standard of living, Israeli consumers are accustomed to paying more for high-quality goods, a fact Pomerantz says anyone exporting to Israel should not lose sight of.
At the end of the day, in order to sell, you've got to be competitive. And what we try to do is help the people understand what it means to be competitive, and it's not always price. Sometimes people will pay price to get quality.
A fact that helped the desert not just bloom here in Israel, but flourish.